This time, and if you guys have read the Pro Football Talk article that Mike Florio wrote yesterday, really disturbing allegations against Deshaun Watson for not only sexual assault, but battery and domestic violence as well. The NFL has basically said they've came out and they are going to treat this, like it's a new case. They're not going to take any discipline on it right away. Um, so this is where we're at with this. Obviously, as Cleveland Browns fans, we're both in the area. Josh is a bigger Browns fan than me. Um, we're gonna get to the game side of things in a little bit, but obviously, I think the performance Sunday just amplified the Deshaun Watson situation. And I had said way back when the trade was made in March of 2022. At the time, I had defended the move. And by the way, for all you people out there, and I think Josh, you may be one of those people that think the Browns should have kept Baker Mayfield. I think the Baker Mayfield Kevin Stefanski relationship was over even prior to the Deshaun Watson trade. I don't want to get into that right now, but I'm just saying that I think that a lot of this stems from Baker's played well in Tampa, Deshaun's not played well in Cleveland. I get it. The bottom line being here, though, is I think the hope is that last year was going to be the year that Deshaun Watson came back to his quote unquote Houston Texans form. That did not happen. And Deshaun has been weirdly injured, not injured. His relationship with Kevin Stefanski has seemed to be on and off. And in my opinion, again, the allegations that came out today or last night, I should say, were absolutely disgusting, in my opinion. Um, Now, the Browns are not going to do this, even though they should. If I was Jimmy Haslam, if I was Kevin Stefanski, if I was Andrew Berry, I said this today. I made a video on it. I made a TikTok on it. I think the Browns personally need to suspend Deshaun Watson. Team suspension. I don't think he should play Sunday against Jacksonville or moving forward. I think this is a distraction for the team. I think this is a distraction for the locker room. The issue the Browns have is unless Deshaun Watson is suspended by the week, which if he is suspended by the week, at that point, there is a loophole in his contract where the Browns could cut him and essentially owe him no money. But until Deshaun Watson is suspended by the week, at this point, because the Browns have moved a lot of that salary cap into a signing bonus, if the Browns were to cut Deshaun Watson today, they would have a dead cap of 171 million. Obviously, they can't do that. And I don't think Jimmy Haslam is going to want to bench his, 45 million a year, $230 million guaranteed starting quarterback. So it's not going to happen, but it absolutely should happen. It's absolutely horrific. And I will add this. There are some people like myself who going into this year wanted to give Deshaun Watson, the football player, the benefit of the doubt. Now, I don't care about Deshaun Watson, the football player. It's very hard to root for a Cleveland Browns football team right now. It's very hard to root for that organization when that man is the starting quarterback. Everything, in my opinion, about the Browns' outlook and everything of my thoughts about Deshaun Watson changed yesterday. Because originally, if you remember, when the reporting came out about the 22 cases, it was a little suspect. The accusers kept going back and forth. He obviously eventually 21 of those 22 cases, but the general sentiment was, okay, maybe not all of these cases were factually accurate. Now I don't know. And again, it makes me think because of how bad Watson played on Sunday, he knew this was coming because it did come down Monday afternoon. I have a hard time believing Deshaun didn't have an inkling about this case. But to me, again, at this point, I think even if the Browns were to win every game this year and win the Super Bowl, people will now not forget Deshaun Watson for what he did. I think this changed everything. And unfortunately, it's a bad look for the Browns organization and everybody involved, including the National Football League. Josh, did I miss anything? Go ahead and add whatever you want.
Um, so I'm just gonna say this: for those people that say you can't, you can root, or for those people that say you have to root for the quarterback if you root for the team, I say no, you don't. Um, like last season, I know it's two completely different situations, but last season, when Joe Flacco became the starting quarterback for the Browns, I rooted for the Browns, but I didn't root for Joe Flacco because I won't forget his time with the Baltimore Ravens, who, in my opinion, are the Browns' biggest rivals. So, and Flacco beat us all the time as when he was the starting quarterback for Baltimore. Um, Again, I get that it's not the same situation here, but while I can root for the Browns as a team, I can't root for Deshaun Watson as the starting quarterback. I just can't do it. I don't condone anything he did. Um, Whether all of it is true or not doesn't matter to me. Um, you know, it's kind of like what happened with Penn State. I don't condone what Jerry Sandusky did or anything that happened. The reason I became a Penn State fan is because it was really cool to see how they overcame all of that stuff and became, one of the top programs in college football. So again, I understand that the Deshaun Watson situation is different from the Jerry Sandusky Penn State stuff, but it seemed like a comparison that I was able to make at still. Hopefully you see a little bit of the similarity there.
And again, say what you want about the Browns moving off Baker Mayfield to go get Deshaun Watson, giving him the $230 million guaranteed. I still believe that, for whatever reason, and I brought this up in a text conversation I had with a couple of buddies of mine last night. The Browns for the last two seasons have moved Deshaun Watson's cap number into a signing bonus, which I know most of you are obviously not NFL cap gurus. What that means is basically his cap number is lowered. It frees up cap space, but you're kicking the can down the road. He still is getting paid the same amount of money. Why the Browns freed up that cap space 2 years in a row and then not use it is beyond me. And now you're stuck in a situation where, again, even if you wanted to cut ties with Deshaun Watson, they cannot unless he is suspended by the NFL. Once he is suspended by the NFL, at that point, in my opinion, if the Browns don't cut Deshaun Watson, it would be an absolute travesty if we get to that point. I I personally wish that last Sunday was Deshaun Watson's last game in a Browns uniform. I know that's not going to happen. I fully expect him to suit up Sunday and start against Jacksonville. But I want to reiterate here, I think he should be suspended without pay, leave from the team. I think it should be a team suspension.
I think he should be suspended for the rest of the season. I don't care how it hurts our potential playoff chances. I don't care about any of that other stuff. You need to send a message that this kind of behavior will not be tolerated. Um, and when he was suspended originally for 11 games, the NFL can deny it all they want. They intentionally made it an 11-game suspension so that his first game as a Cleveland Brown would be in Houston against the Texans back in 2022, I believe that was. Personally, I think it would have been better if his first game had been in Miami against the Dolphins because you had all those storylines with the Dolphins trying to replace Tua with Deshaun Watson and all that stuff. But that's just me. But clearly, you know, the 11-game suspension and the $5 million fine wasn't enough. So if it were up to me, he would be suspended for the rest of the season and he would get at least a $100 million fine.
Well, let's put this in perspective. The new case that has came in. The NFL has said basically that it's going to treat it as sort of a new investigation, and that case occurred prior to any suspension by the week.
I do
So
under I do understand that, but like the fact that again, I get that this new case is from like 2020 or whatever.
from October 2020, it was during that season. It was during his last season of full play when he was still a member of the Houston Texans.
Right. So I do understand that, but at the same time, the fact that another case has come out, you know, clearly shows that while he hasn't been in the news since the 11 game suspension, for any new cases, let me clarify. He hasn't been in the news for any new cases. I get that. But still, like the fact that another case has come out, like I think that warrants a suspension for the rest of the season. That's just me personally.